subscribe on those two. Let's go ahead and do it over here. And we are live. What's going on? What's going on, y'all? I got another one, from Cosmic Verse. Hey, listen, these women are out here wanting another chance. And now they begging. They begging, man. They out here begging. Listen, with no further ado, I'm going to get right into this. You guys smash that like button. Let's get it. Let's go.
As single men get older and more successful, their dating pool expands. As we get more successful, our dating options shrink.
So a bunch of women in Florida are pissed off at Ron DeSantis. He's taking away their alimony.
Average women consider average men as ugly and beneath.
Average women call everyone average, except themselves. They think they're above the scale.
Listen, some of y'all men are gonna have to settle. Some of us evil, lazy women, we want love and affection too.
Girls who are super confident, extremely successful, they're always single.
DNA should be part of the maternity package in hospital.
DNA testing holds women accountable. That's why so many of them are against it.
Absolutely.
Kindly subscribe to the channel, as it is our sole form of support. Thank you.
You guys make sure you
I
subscribe.
have big energy, and that really intimidates men. Like, pull it out right now. Let's see whose is bigger.
Every couple should get a DNA test done on their child before they leave the hospital with the baby. Yes, I think it should be included in the birth certificate that a DNA test has been performed and this so person is the father. Yes, paternity fraud is sick. It's not a good thing.
Tell me if you've seen this before too. Girls who are super confident, extremely successful, so pretty, like drop dead gorgeous, have everything going on for them, they're always single. And then on the other hand, guys who are super attractive, confident, super smart, everything, they're always in a relationship. Am I making this up, or have other people seen this trend too?
This is because a lot of these girls have masculine traits, which nothing's wrong with that to a certain degree. Men are scared of women who know their worth, who are more successful than them. It's 'cause you are all pursuing, entertaining the same guy. He has you and 9 other women to choose from. Why would he settle for just you? Men don't like successful women because they feel intimidated. When women hear this, they immediately think that men are scared of them, which is ridiculous. What exactly is a man supposed to be scared of? A man doesn't care how successful a woman is because he's not looking for someone to take care of him. Success in her career doesn't make her more attractive if her attitude and demeanor are off-putting. If these women aren't getting matches or dates, it often comes down to their personalities and how they carry themselves. In many cases, they exude masculine energy, anger, and are just plain hard to deal with. Men are wired to seek peace and comfort in a relationship, not conflict and competition.
We're not going to make this about gender because I've seen both sides do it, but if family court orders you to partake in a paternity test and you refuse to cooperate, they do have the authority to issue a warrant for your arrest and send you to jail. So just keep that in mind.
I don't know how to say this in a nice way, but stop trying to date people below you because you think that they're going to treat you better. They're not. Like, they're psychology.
I appreciate it, fam. I know you over there living your dream. You know what I mean? Living the dream that we're all trying to get to, with your girl getting pampered, man. I'm going to be out there, man. As soon as this is done with my kid's leg, it's a little bit more healed. We're out there, man. It's over. It's over. You know what I mean? Living the dream, man.
Psychology, for whatever reason, convinces them that they're actually on your level and deserving of you. And do you know how painful it is to get played by someone who's ugly and poor? What? Very painful. Very painful.
Like most of these
So a bunch of women in Florida are pissed off at Ron DeSantis.
You know what I'm saying? Drop the makeup, drop the wig. You know what I mean? Like, old boy said in the last video, that Davy Crockett coonskin. Hey, drop the coonskins, man. You know what I mean? the fake eyelashes and the filters and the makeup. And what do you have? An ugly brokey. Let's go.
Santa's because he's taken away their alimony. I find it fascinating that all these women who've been voting for 100 years against their own self-interest are shocked when it finally affects them. Good luck there, buddy.
Good. Get your ass up and go to work like we do. Alimony is nothing but theft. It should have been abolished years ago. The fields and construction sites are open. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Come on now. I love this for them. Why do women rely on a man who already proven to not be reliable? So they divorce them. You should have been independent sooner. We have to understand it's all about the money. These women are only upset because they can't use men for alimony anymore. Ever since this permanent ban passed, they've been pretty angry because it takes away the financial safety net they were banking on. For years, some women relied on alimony as a way to maintain their lifestyle without putting in the work post-divorce. Now that men are no longer obligated to fund their ex-wives indefinitely, it's hitting hard. The anger isn't about losing a relationship or support, it's about losing that easy income stream they had counted on. Just incredible.
One of the biggest lies I used to tell myself, but I thought was the truth when I was single before I got married, was men are intimidated by me. I thought because I had a house, a car, been driving BMW since I was 24 years old, I thought that because I made a lot of money, that men just couldn't handle it, they were intimidated, and they were turned off because I was doing better than them. That is one of the biggest lies, or the things that we think, when really the problem is us.
Yeah. So basic adulting is not intimidating, but I really have to commend this woman for speaking the truth, because so many women walk around with that mindset, thinking their success is intimidating to men. The women who actually believe that are usually the same ones who can't accept accountability for their behavior, or the fact that they lack the feminine qualities that men actually look for. Every one of their talking points always comes back to the possessions they have, the money they make, or the career titles they hold. They think these things should automatically make them more desirable.
Crazy.
But what they fail to realize is that men aren't looking for someone to compete with. Women go for status and men for peace. That's why they can't understand.
Why is it that the more successful I've become, the less that men seem to want to date me? For those of you who are further along in your careers, I'm really curious to hear what your experience has been with this, so wanted to share mine. I always get told that I am too intimidating. Just because I am a strong, independent woman doesn't mean that I want to be that in every single category of my life, because I'll tell you, I'm exhausted and I would really love to have some help sometimes. And I miss having a kind of companionship and partnership. And I want to still be able to have my hobbies. I want my partner to have their hobbies, right? Or future partner, because I'm single. When I go on first dates, I try really hard to not talk too much about my job.
I don't know what it is with women who constantly refer to themselves as strong and independent. I really wonder what power they think they're gaining from it. If you're calling yourself an independent woman, why are you surprised when no man wants you? Independence, by definition, means you don't need anyone. So why would a man feel compelled to pursue someone who's already made it clear that she doesn't need him? Maybe these women don't fully understand what the word independent really means in the context of a relationship. Independence is great when it comes to handling your life and responsibilities, but when it turns into an attitude that shuts out partnership, cooperation, and vulnerability, it's no wonder men are walking away. Men don't want to date themselves.
If you're not married and you have doubts that you're the father of a child, make sure you're not on the birth certificate and don't sign the voluntary declaration of paternity. And if you get served with court papers, request a DNA test. If you are married, the law assumes that the child is yours, so you have 2 years to ask for a DNA test before you're legally the child's father.
Florida family law tip of the day. Governor DeSantis did sign the alimony reform bill yesterday, so effective today, July 1st, permanent alimony is a thing of the past in Florida. In addition, it limits the amount of alimony the recipient can get to their reasonable need or 35% of the difference of the parties' net incomes, whichever is less.
Men are just intimidated by us strong women. Not really. You're really aggressive and demanding and overall hard to be around. I don't have fun when I'm around you.
If I'm too
pros,
much,
man.
then go find less.
Babbling yappers.
I'm a strong woman. No, you're an asshole. There's a difference. A strong woman doesn't feel the need to let you know. That whole strong women thing says, I'll destroy your peace and I'm all that matters. We are not intimidated. We are just tired of being told we are creepy for giving women compliments. Not intimidated. Just not attracted to you. Strong women are basically just the average dude in society. I want someone soft and feminine.
So I wanted to talk about DNA testing because I've seen a lot of people, like a lot of females get mad and say that they'll like leave their man, which is fine. You could leave your man, who cares? But they'll be like, oh, I'll leave my man and I'll take the baby away from him, or I'm so offended, I'm so upset, I'm so mad. But I'm just confused because I feel like if you don't have nothing to hide, then that's not something you should ever get upset about, be mad about, or feel like you're gonna leave your man for. Like, if you're not doing anything, what's the issue of your man getting a test and just being positive that it's his kid? Because not for nothing, there's a lot of women out here that, you know, have had a man raise their kid and then 5 years later, or even longer than that, the man finds out that he's not the biological father. And there's already all this attachment, all of these memories that was made. So, you know, I don't understand why it's so hard to just be like, yeah, go ahead, get a DNA test and not feel some way about it. I get being like, oh, you know, I didn't sleep with anybody, but then just prove that. Like, if you didn't do it, just prove it. It shouldn't be like, you shouldn't get that mad. Like, personally, if my man was to ask me for a DNA test, I wouldn't care because I know I'm not doing anything, and I know I didn't do anything to prevent my man from, you know, seeing something that he shouldn't, because he's just gonna see that it is his kid. And whatever you decide to do relationship-wise after that is on you. But, like, taking the kid away, that's extreme. That's crazy. And it's honestly pointless because just because your man wants to, like, 100% know. And if your man is asking for a DNA test, he probably has a reason to be asking for that. And if he doesn't to you, well, just give it to him. Like, honestly, what's the big deal?
Women don't ever have to question the baby because they don't have that option. They know it's theirs. Men, on the other hand, have to trust that the child is theirs based solely on the word of their partner. And that's exactly why a DNA test is so important, especially in modern dating, where it's not uncommon for many women to have multiple partners they're messing with. The risk of uncertainty is higher than ever. Men deserve clarity in situations that could impact their entire lives, both emotionally and financially. The moment a woman threatens to take the child away or leave the relationship when a DNA test is mentioned, it raises red flags. These emotional threats aren't just manipulative. They often signal that she has something to hide. Why else would someone resist a simple test that ensures transparency? The real issue lies in using these threats to guilt or control the man, making him feel that asking for certainty is somehow wrong. It's a tactic to avoid accountability while keeping the man trapped in a potential lie. Mandatory DNA testing would take away the ability for these situations to escalate into manipulation, and it would protect men from being deceived into lifelong commitments based on false pretenses.
As you're dating younger women and you're kind of like damaging them at a young age. So now when we get to our 30s, we're completely damaged by our older men, and now we don't want y'all and y'all don't want us. The man is 40, 45. Let's say he has his money, his house. Now he got time to go live his best life. Now he wants to date younger women. Let's say a 21-year-old. Now he dates her for 4 years. While he's dating her, he's cheating with other 19, 20, 25-year-olds. You're damaging this young girl, right? You're causing trauma and damage that's going to cost her pretty much years to heal. Fast forward years later, she's 30. She's damaged. All because a 40-year-old wants to be living his best life after he built himself.
Okay, why successful women are single. And no, it is not because they're intimidated of you. I feel like that's an excuse. A lot of times successful women want to find a man who makes just as much money as her, if not more. And they won't consider anybody who makes less money than her. Now, the issue is the men who make more money than her do not want someone they don't care about a woman's success. The men who make more money than her literally want an Instagram model. I have seen that men tend to go for looks first and foremost. The richer the man, the prettier the girl. In general, of course, do not come for me. Okay? Don't come for me. I have seen instances in where the man is more attractive than the wife was when they met when they were a lot younger, and the man did not earn a lot of money and he wasn't successful. In instances where the man is successful, he has a lot of options, so he usually chooses for a pretty wife. Again,
That's what I'm saying. The fact that they're able to throw these scenarios out there, and these guys do this. These worst case scenarios that are based off the men that they choose. No one is cracking anybody over the head and dragging them back to their cave. You're choosing these men and then complaining about the choices, the horrible choices you made, and you're trying to put it on the men. This is mental theater here, man. It's crazy. The gymnastics is out of hand. We can't do this.
You guys are going to come for me. There's always exceptions to every rule. Okay, so my advice for successful women who have trouble dating is to open up your mind and look for somebody who could be like a stay-at-home dad. The women I know who are very successful, most likely are either 1, single, divorced, or 2, they have a stay-at-home dad type, or 3, they're business partners together. The business partners together, though, happened before they were both successful. Now, the issue with successful women and long-term relationships and marriages is a lot of them do not put up with BS. So when they find a guy who is just as successful as them, and the guy philanders, cheats, or does BS, the successful woman, because she has so much independence, she literally walks away, and she could. I mean, you think about Jay-Z and Beyonce, right? Jay-Z and Beyonce are both very, very successful. He still cheated on her many times. And even though Beyonce could literally have any guy, she stayed with him. But I know a lot of successful women would simply leave that relationship because they do not need a man because they're so successful. So anyways, my piece of advice for women who are very successful is to open up your mind and understand that men are not intimidated by you. They're just not, the men that you want are not looking for women like you. So you need to find men who are willing to maybe be more of a stay-at-home dad kind of role, or for you to be a provider role.
Essentially, these women are hypergamous, which significantly limits their options in dating. High-value men who are successful, confident, and desirable have a wide array of choices. They don't necessarily need a successful woman by their side, as they can choose from a vast pool of women who might fit their criteria for a partner. On the other hand, successful women find themselves narrowing their options to a small percentage of the dating pool, often just around 10% of men who meet their hypergamous standards. This creates a situation where they are competing for the attention of a limited number of high-value men, while those men have numerous options available to them. So men aren't intimidated, they just aren't interested.
If you falsely accuse a man of being your baby's daddy, it's called parentage fraud, and it's no joke. It's a new era. Ladies are legally free to be with whomever they feel free to be with. And for some women, an honest mistake could be made. Just make sure you're sincere and you've done your homework. And if you're making a legal claim to force a resistant man to claim your child as his dependent, make sure you can back it up with the facts.
My boy is married to the lady and signed the birth certificate, but the child isn't biologically his. Does she pay for the rest of her life for her mistake, like the man is forced to? Also,
exactly. When you allow them to be able to make up their mind and feel like they're a victim of the choices they make, they're going to always be a victim, and you're setting yourself up for failure. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, man. You gotta watch that verbiage, you know?
So, if you falsely accuse a man of rape or sex harassment, you should go to jail. There's no way that can ever be an honest mistake by ruining a man's life. These women know exactly who and how many guys they're sleeping with. Claiming ignorance is just a way to escape responsibility. If a man receives a false paternity claim and she tries to pin that baby on him, there should be serious consequences. She should be in jail. It's not just about deception. It's a betrayal that has lifelong effects on a man's emotional well-being, finances, and future. False paternity isn't a minor slip-up. It's calculated and manipulative, preying on a man's sense of duty and love for a child that isn't even his.
Okay, to answer the question of where to find them, I kid you not, Monday nights at the bar. Monday nights at the bar. I can get into specifics, and of course there's other options, like there's conferences, there are golf courses, there's Whole Foods. Whole Foods is like a number one. Like there's a lot of places, but the number one suggestion I would give is Monday night at the bar. A high-end bar, not the hood bars, a high-end bar.
I'm getting a lot of comments saying that paternity tests should be given at every birth. And while I do think that it's necessary in some cases, it is actually very common for the father to decline to do the paternity test. In this particular case, the father thought that he was the only one that the woman was sleeping with. They both signed a voluntary declaration that he was the father and that there were no other possible father. Now the question is, how could he write that when he doesn't know who this lady is sleeping with? But in his mind, he was with her all the time, so there's no way that she could have been sleeping with someone else. Well, lo and behold, she found a way to sleep with somebody else, and there was another father. And there was a positive DNA test for that particular father. So this lady is facing charges of perjury because she lied to the court, let them know that there was no other fathers, and she also signed a voluntary declaration of paternity, which is also under penalty of perjury, saying that there were no other possible fathers. So like I said in the previous video, the paternity judgment was overturned and he did get his money back. My client is still thinking about whether or not he wants to press criminal charges against her. But y'all be safe out there, for real.
This story right here is exactly why DNA tests should be mandatory. And the reason why men refuse to take the test is because they don't want to hurt their woman. Men often refuse to take the test because they don't want to damage their relationship or hurt their partner's feelings. But at what cost? The fear of upsetting someone shouldn't outweigh the importance of truth, accountability, and fairness in parenthood. Don't get stuck with another man's child because you're afraid of upsetting her. That should be the least of your worries. Because in the long run, it will only hurt you mentally and financially.
Ladies, do not ever date a man below your league, thinking that he's going to treat you like a princess. No man will try to humble you more than a man that's below your league. In his mind, he's unlocked a whole new level. He will not think he got lucky and he's hit the lotto and he just needs to cherish you. A man that has hit a miracle will have his ego inflated. He will think this is what he's capable of always now, and that you should be so lucky to have him. He will then find ways to put you down and make you feel like you have to prove your worth to him. That man will have you questioning your worth. I see it all the time. And still at their core, they will always question if you are above their league. And they will have that resentment building up inside. And they will stop at nothing until they make you feel small, so they're able to feel tall. So do not waste your time with anyone below your league. We are at our league or higher. Actually, no, preferably higher. Just go higher. Because that caliber of man will actually value you. Trust me when I say no one treats you worse than someone below your league.
There's no such thing as dating below your league. That whole concept is just a way for these women to make themselves feel special, to inflate their egos. When these women give an average guy a chance, they expect him to worship them or feel lucky, as she mentioned, like there's some kind of prize he should be grateful for. It's all about control and maintaining a sense of superiority. What they don't realize is that real men, especially good men, aren't looking for someone who wants to be placed on a pedestal, but the type of man she's describing, the one who mistreats her or doesn't value her, is usually the toxic guy they always seem to go for. They chase after the guys who play games, manipulate, and bring drama, because that's what excites. A good man wouldn't treat her like that in the first place. He wouldn't feel the need to worship her or fall into those toxic patterns because he values himself.
Average women consider average men as ugly and beneath them. But why is it a woman's fault if you're ugly? And would you even date a woman that you consider ugly?
I had 2 guys call in. They work at DNA testing centers. One guy had to quit. One guy still works there. He told me 40% of the children are not the man's child. 40%. He said 40%.
Somebody call
and
Maury.
it's usually
Make DNA testing
it's
mandatory.
It's 2 scenarios. It's where the woman, the person's getting a DNA test because the woman claims that is their child. Turns out it's not. The other one is where the parent is on a deathbed and makes a confession, or they need a liver transplant, blood transfusion, and the blood type. There's no way that can actually be the father. So then they find out because of medical reasons. You mean that's not my father? Then the father finds out from that way. He said it took such a toll on him that he could no longer do it because he would be sitting on the phone counseling the men and the grown children who these women falsely accuse. We see it on Moore, we see it on paternity court, but yet we say men need to be held accountable.
DNA test for paternity should be required before signing a birth certificate. Mandatory DNA test at birth for unmarried couples seems like a good idea. For many married couples, the husband is on the hook, even if it's not his child. I got so much hate for doing a DNA test right after my son was born. 15 years later, it is still the best news I've gotten in my life. DNA testing at birth should be law. Women need to take accountability and need to pay back all child support if it was paid.
Question for the men when dating, or I guess in general. Would you rather date a woman that is less attractive than you? You know, I would think that would give you a little more security, thinking maybe they're going to be less high maintenance. Maybe you won't have to worry about them cheating. Obviously, there's so much that goes into the reason why people cheat. It's not just because of looks that they cheat. A lot of times, women cheat because of emotional connections that they're lacking in their relationship, which is a whole nother story. But I'm just so curious, would a guy rather date someone that is less attractive than them? I know men are typically first focused on the physical appearance, whether it's their face or body or whatever. But in the long run, through your experiences of dating, what is your thought on this?
A man would absolutely choose a 6 with an amazing personality over an 8 with a horrible one any day. Why? Because looks fade. Beauty is temporary, but personality, character, and the way someone makes you feel last far longer. Too many people today are caught up in superficial standards, thinking that physical attraction is everything. But in reality, a stunning appearance means nothing if the person behind it is difficult, negative, or draining to be around. Men in particular have been dating down for centuries, and not just in terms of looks. They've always been willing to overlook physical traits if the woman brings other valuable qualities like kindness, loyalty, and emotional support.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about paternity fraud.
because I've been seeing these videos going around where they're saying DNA should be mandatory at birth. I don't have a problem with DNA being mandatory at birth. But DNA being mandatory at birth should be part 1 of a part 2 paperwork. DNA mandatory, child support mandatory. So the minute that DNA is proved, child support.
If y'all notice, there's a theme here amongst these women where they just want to go tit for tat. All this is avoided by keeping your legs closed, and men won't be able to pull their junk out if the woman's legs are closed. So this is just nonsensical, upset because they can't hoe like they want to hoe, and they're being held accountable. So pay attention to the ones that have a problem with common sense. There's a reason for it. They're going to do all kind of different mental gymnastic tricks to try to make it make sense, but it's not going to. All you got to do is keep your legs closed. It's a wrap. That's it. That's it.
Where it starts. How about that? Same way you want to be sure that you're taking care of the right child, it's the same way I want to be sure that whether we're together or not, my child will be provided for. It is only fair. But I never hear nobody talks about that part. Oh, you should have DNA testing at birth. Men should be taking care of kids that's not theirs.
Absolutely.
But nobody's saying we should have child support at birth. You're not married to that man. That man does not come home to you. That man does not provide a home and security for you. You should have child support at birth. Immediately, right away. Even if he's your boyfriend, even if y'all together. The same day. The baby come out today, you go to the child support office as soon as you could walk. That's how it should be done.
I would have to disagree. Child support is intended for parents who don't take care of their child.
Absolutely. Look, that's enough of that babbler with that horn going through her nose, man, and tattoos and the accent. I feel like she's throwing a spell on us while we're listening to her. I feel like she's casting a spell through her words, man. Like, you gotta be watching out for these witches, man. They be out here. She's got all this malice towards stuff that makes no sense. She's mad. I feel like she's casting spells to us. You know what I mean? Be careful, y'all. Guard your soul. Listen, smash that like button. Go ahead and share the live stream. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. In the comment section, let's chop it up. Let me know. Do you agree? Disagree? What's good? I'm going to work on this Streamlabs thing and get that shorts feed right, man. I like doing a lot of stuff, man. Could I be doing too much? Nah, never that. I'm an engineer, man. I got to pioneer stuff. Anyway, love and light. I'm your brother, and I'm out. Get some of these last comments in here. Absolutely, absolutely.
In this game, you gotta have that dog in you.
Made in America.
Appreciate y'all for joining. You know what I'm saying? We'll do this again.